From the creators who brought you RuPaul's Drag Race and $1 Million Listing, this is World of Wonder's Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome to the Wow Report, coming to you almost live from Hollywood, California, a very rainy and wet California, but we're surviving. I'm Tom Campbell. I'm here, as I am here every week, with the incredible club kid turned best-selling author, James St. James.
That's me.
And Blake Jacobs, our millennial, if that's still a thing, producer, is here. He's going to be joining us for the entire show because Fenton Bailey, our fearless leader, is out making award-winning, critically acclaimed programming along with Randy Barbado. And we're going to hear from Fenton in a pre-tape segment at our number one, where he's going to introduce some really interesting characters from the brand new World of Wonder, Randy and Fenton produced and directed documentary Murder in Glitterball City, which is a two-part documentary. It's a crime documentary with the most outrageous, interesting, grotesque characters done with that chef's kiss way that Randy and Fenton handle characters. And it's currently streaming on HBO. It's an HBO documentary. So
I can't wait. Party Monster who? Party Monster what? And that's last year's news. It's all about Murder in Glitterball City now. I am old hat at World of Wonder.
You are part of the legacy, because there was this great Wall Street Journal review. I don't know if you saw it, but it was someone who clearly knew all of their work, Randy and Fenton's work, and he gave it a incredible review. I got the links to watch it, but technology has been failing me all week. But that's what we're going to talk about as we start to count down the top 10 things this week that made us go wow.
Wow.
All right, let's go. Number 10.
Number 10.
James, I did it.
What did you do?
I watched, at your insistence, the Muppet Show special with Sabrina Carpenter.
Okay.
The journey getting there, I liked it. I didn't love it, and we're going to talk about that.
What?
But first of all, I only have Hulu. I don't have Disney. And I paid for my Hulu for a year. And so I was trying to get onto Disney last night, and I had to sign up for Disney. I'm paid up till July on Hulu. Did that money get transferred to my new, now more expensive Disney Hulu package?
Well, I had a similar thing. I texted you guys this morning. I was going to watch it, and I was like, I can't get onto the damn Disney Plus app, so I'm not watching it. But then all of a sudden I logged back on, and it just let me on as if I didn't need a password.
You guys are burying the lead here. Tom, you didn't like this. Is tailor-made for Tom Campbell. What didn't you like about it?
I didn't like. First of all, you said you liked it, so it just sets me up to be disappointed. But because I'm that
knee-jerk reaction, you're going to hate it just to be a contrarian.
I'm that bitch, okay? I'm that bitch. No, listen, nostalgia and reboots is a very tough thing to pull off. For the first few minutes, the opening sequence, the balcony scenes, I thought like, okay, this is a reboot. This is nostalgia that I could buy into because they didn't age. They don't have plastic surgery. They don't have bad toupees. They don't have lower neck and facelifts.
We're right back where we left off.
We're right back where we started, but it kind of leaves the question, why? It's like, and I'm going to say a lot of things that alienate everyone.
We need this feel-good family entertainment.
Yes. It's just in a world where there's YouTube and you can go back and watch Linda Ronstadt sing with the Muppets on Blue Bayou, where you can see Debbie Harry of Blondie sing Rainbow Connection with Kermit.
But now we have Sabrina Carpenter doing it too, and Sabrina was wonderful.
She did a fine job. She made a drag reference, I think, at the very beginning, because Miss Piggy accused her of wearing a wig. She goes, I don't wear wigs. This is my hair, which is what, Alaska?
I noticed that too. I loved it, James. I thought it was brilliant. I loved when she did her man-child number and she had the chickens in the background, and they said, stupid, and they said, cluck, cluck.
And then the islands in the stream, it was so good.
And her and Miss Piggy going at it back and forth.
Yes.
I love Gonzo, like his whole gag flying through. He'd be like, Lupita Nyong'o.
And he kept naming off all the random
Angelica Houston, Olympia Dukakis.
Yes. And then the rats singing the blinding
lights.
Blinding
and then
lights.
the guy like accidentally like cuts the lights out.
It was exactly like Debbie Harry singing or Liza Minnelli singing. It was like Sabrina Carpenter was just adorable. Tom, you went into it in a bad mood, and so you just decided you were going to hate it.
It might have been the paywall. It might have been the rain. I'm finding everything doesn't work. My phone, people are like, I can't hear you on my phone. Anyway, I didn't dislike it. It just felt old-fashioned in a way that, yes, was like a big bowl of soup, but
who are you?
Is this supposed to be a returning series, do we think?
Well, yes, it got more hit. It got 8 million views in like 1 hour. Yes, it's going to be picked up to series. What are you fighting, Tom?
I don't know. I just thought it was a little frenetic. There was a lot of editing.
It's the Muppets. Of course it's frenetic. That's what they're supposed to be.
I could have come here and lied. Would you have preferred I came here and lied?
Yes.
Well, don't take it so personal, James. I think
you
should definitely give it. I think you should definitely give it a second shot if we get a second episode, and definitely try to be in a better mood because it is amazing. It made me think. Like at first, I was like, James, it's the Muppets. Who cares? But watching it, I was like, oh, maybe this is what we need.
What happened to your inner child, Tom? Why are you Waldorf and Statler sitting you are the old men in the balcony.
They were my favorite part. It
makes sense because you identify with them.
And then we're going to write down all their sayings, but I'm too lazy. They made me laugh a lot. Kermie and Piggy, I don't feel the magic anymore. I feel like
maybe that's because you're old and you don't have your inner child anymore.
I feel like they're like the Obamas and I don't see them together enough. There, I said it. I'm going to tear you guys.
I'll tear you a new one, boy.
All right. So
you've really upset James.
I've upset James, and I don't want to upset James, but I feel like bringing.
I know she can tank the show right now.
Okay. Now, with great fear and trepidation, I say, let's move on to number 9.
Number 9.
I don't even know where to go. I need to take a moment. I don't even know who you are anymore, Tom Campbell. I watched a new show on Netflix called Too Much. I don't know if you've heard about this.
It's how I felt about the Muppet show. It's just a little too much.
God, we're just going to bang on and on about that. Okay, let me just shake it off, James. Shake it off. Okay. Too Much, created by Lena Dunham on Netflix. It's the Lena Dunham thing. It stars Megan Stetler, who, Tom, is the chaotic assistant on Hacks. And Will Sharp, who was the cutie from season 2 of The Lotus. He was married to Aubrey Plaza. And he was just that adorable, adorable boy. She's a big girl with a big personality. She's too much. She's too much in everything. She's quirky and brash and loud. She's a New Yorker, and she breaks up with her boyfriend and moves to London to start over again. And that's where she meets Will Sharp, and he is absolutely wonderful. He loves her for being too much. Every time she goes over the top, he loves it. She can do no wrong in his eyes. And
it's mostly based on Lena Dunham's real life romance, correct?
It's very much, yeah. You see Lena Dunham's imprint all over this. Sometimes it doesn't stick the landing, but the jokes are funny. It's there. She's definitely a star. He's definitely wonderful. Just the best thing about it. But that's not what hooked me. I'll tell you what hooked. Not to make it all about me, but I'm going to make it all about me. Because the first episode, when she's living in New York, her apartment was an apartment that I used to have. It's a very famous building, the Charlie Parker building in New York City that's been landmarked. And I remember the landlady at the time I was living there, she was in the process of getting it landmarked. And it has very distinctive architectural touches to it that I can automatically see. And I know because I went when I got it, I was going to get the penthouse apartment, which is famous for having this 2-story loft that has a garden that overlooks Tompkins Square Park. It's very specific, and I didn't end up getting that. I ended up getting the apartment below it. So I know the layout of all the different apartments, and it has a very famous backyard, and the steps going up to it are very distinctive. So when I see her walking up the steps, I was like, oh my God, that's my apartment. And then I start to see, oh my God, that's my bedroom. Da, 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 da. Like I notice everything. And it's funny because I've lived in a number of buildings that are used for scouting locations now. My other apartment in the Triangle building, we've talked about this on 14th Street, is where Glenn Close had her loft in Fatal Attraction.
Mm-hmm.
So and I see it over and over again. I'm always seeing my apartments. Yes.
Would it be more accurate to say you've been kicked out of a number of apartments
I
that
have
are now
been
used in
out
movies?
of all of these very famous apartment buildings? Yes. It's fascinating when you see places you've lived. It was in The Boys in the Band. The reboot of The Boys in the Band took place in this building. I always notice it, and I'm always, because I very distinctly can see my bedroom when it's used, and the living room as well. So
Was it rent controlled?
No. In fact, I was paying $2,100 a month. It was like the entire floor of this, and I was like, $2,100 a month. I can't believe it. It went up to 23. I was like, 23. I'm not going to pay $2,300. I'm moving out. And now, like the idea of paying $2,100 for a
I love real estate stories. They're all the same, but they're all like, oh, I used to, if I was still there, I should have never sold that. But
I remember just, who pays $2,300 for a 2-bedroom apartment?
Going back to the Too Much series, it not picked up for season 2. It got kind of panned, sort of unfairly panned, I think. You're saying there's parts of it that are very, because I love.
Well, I'll tell you what it is, Tom. I go into a series wanting to like it, and I usually end up liking it because I go into it in a good mood.
So, in contrast to my experience with the Muppet Show special, is that what you're saying?
I poisoned the well, first of all, by saying you would like it. So you went into it with a knee-jerk reaction that you were going to hate it. And then you had a bad experience logging on. I expressed
myself so badly. I didn't have a bad experience. But I feel like nostalgia is a really tough thing to, like, whenever anything comes back, you're like, oh, yay, it's back. And then you're like, okay.
I seem to remember you loved the nostalgia of the Muppets and Lady Gaga with RuPaul. I remember that was nostalgia that worked with the Muppets.
I sent you clips, including that whole.
I love the Muppets as long as it's Liza Minnelli and Ethel Merman. But the minute you get Sarah Carpenter,
that wasn't going to be forever, and it was super subversive and maybe even wrong, the Lady Gaga Muppet thing, but it happened. It's kind of like a crazy moment in history. The kids like Ethel Merman. I'll tell you that right now. Trend alert, Ethel Merman's coming back. Okay, let's see what we can fight about as we move on to number 8.
Number 8.
Have you guys ever heard of BBNO Money? He's a new rapper. He's a Gen Z. He calls himself the Gen Z Eminem.
What's his name?
Baby No Money, and it's BBNO $. And he said, and no, it ain't BB Knows. He was playing at the Palladium. My bestie Steven is really into him, and I kind of liked him, but I was, not as excited as he was going into the show last night. But I went to the show.
What's the music like?
It is like Young Gravy.
Well, now you've still lost me. What is Young Gravy like?
It's like Gen Z, bro-y, rap boy, but super.
Would Clavicular be listening to it, Blake?
Maybe, but it's super like Protect the Dolls. Like he's super gay friendly.
Oh.
Like look at this photo of him from one of his videos. That's like the David Mason.
He's adorable.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a slick it up guy.
Well,
that's
right. It's not somebody the Clavicular would be watching, basically. No.
Right. But he became widely known for his 2019 single La 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 featuring Y2K. And I bet you've heard it before, or maybe it's just because Steven has played it 9 times. But lots of his music, I was like, oh, I know this song.
Wait, so he's been around 7 years?
He has. He started making music after a back injury prevented him from pursuing his dream as a professional swimmer. He had several kind of throws to Drag Race too. Like one of his songs is "Come to Brazil." The Drag Race.
Oh yeah,
fans
every person on social media, come to Brazil to Katya and Trixie. Yes,
exactly. Another hilarious thing was he gives away a cookbook to the person who's like giving it the hardest at each show, you know. And the energy in the room when he announced that he had this
like
cookbook,
you're really cooking, babe. Is that the thought?
I guess the energy in the room when he did this, it was like that skit on SNL from the Oprah show, you know, when people's heads are exploding.
Oh,
they're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Ah! The graphics were kind of lo-fi, kind of like that Beyonce performance where it's all PowerPoint.
Okay, yeah.
And he was on like the stage had like a hill, like a grassy knoll, kind of like Teletubbies. It was very like 90s nostalgic. It's called the Internet Explorer Tour. It was all like, you know, Windows XP.
I don't understand any of this, but it sounds wonderful.
It was all very throwback, nostalgic Gen Z, which made me feel old, but you know, and I was probably the oldest person.
Wait,
there.
we're nostalgic for Gen Z now?
Yeah, like 90s nostalgia.
Oh,
when they were babies.
Okay.
This kid was born in 95.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Baby, no money.
Baby, no money. He's awesome.
I'm gonna BB no $. I'm gonna listen to some of the music when I get off the show, and I'm gonna use this is the best cocktail conversation. Seriously, like with my friends to say,
Tom Campbell, if you come back and you give it a rave and you love it, I swear to God,
it's gonna be a lip sync song, the first male lip sync song.
Blake recommended something I've got to listen to. I'm gonna love it because Blake recommended
finally something I can wrap my head around, something new, something exciting, something it's my vibe. All right, we are going to take a little break. We may all be coming back after the commercial break. Some of us might leave. I don't know. It's that kind of day. It's that kind of show. You never know what's going to happen. Anything to plug, Blake?
Of course we do. RuPaul's Drag Race season 18 on MTV every Friday, and on Wow Presents Plus everywhere else besides the UK or here in Australia.
This is a compliment, and we use this on the show a lot if you know Drag Race. But this season, the Queen's pussies are on fire. There, I said it. It's an amazing cast, and they're doing crazy, fun things in the challenges and in the verite. It's really fun to watch. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. This is the Wow Report on Radio Andy.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back. It's the Wow Report on Radio Andy. I'm Tom Campbell. I'm here with James St. James, Blake Jacobs. We are holding down the fort as Fenton Bailey is traveling, and you'll be hearing from him a little bit later at number 1, where he'll be talking to some cast from Murder in Glitterball City, the gayest, quirkiest, also shocking murder mystery to ever air anywhere, and it's produced by
I can't wait to watch it. It looks so fantastic.
I tried to watch it, and I couldn't watch the downloaded technology.
2 episodes on HBO out now.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, we're counting down the top 10 things of the week that made us go wow. Let's pick up at number 7.
Number 7.
James.
Yeah.
I did something for you again this week.
I can't wait for this one.
I finally watched Blue Moon.
Oh, good. Yeah.
The biopic about Lauren's Hart of Rodgers and Hart.
Now, please tell me you did like this one.
Starring.
That was not a full-throated endorsement. Yes.
Ethan Hawke. And James, I'm sorry. I loved it.
Oh, good. Okay.
I loved it.
Oh,
I loved it.
You redeemed yourself in my eyes, Tom.
I could watch it again and again, I think.
Yeah.
It's such a simple, brilliant premise. It's so verbal. And the only thing I want to say, I'm going to bitch about technology for a minute, so tune out if you must. But, it only played like in the Valley when it was released in the movies, and so I couldn't see it. So then I thought, well, I'll see it online on one of my streamers, and then you had to pay for it. And I have so many things, but I hate to pay per view.
It's true. It's true.
So it finally showed up on Netflix. So I was like, this is last night, so I'm getting ready for the show. I'm going to watch this. I'm so excited. And I push, and it's like, this movie is not compatible with your plan, because I've got the cheapest plan. I've got the cheapest plan. I pay $7.99. I'm low res. I only can use it on one device, and I had to upgrade $10
every 5 minutes.
Commercials, it doesn't matter. And so I had to upgrade. In addition to my Hulu Disney thing, I had to upgrade to $17.99. So I'm going to probably take that down today. But for those who don't know, it's set on the night of the opening of Oklahoma, which is Rodgers and Hammerstein, who's Rodgers' new partner. And it changed theater and sort of left Lorenz Hart, who is a homosexual alcoholic, who's also one of the best lyricists of the 20th century, but he's destroying himself. And it feels like a play in the best way possible, because it's so verbal.
Yes,
it's so
it feels
smart.
like a one-man play that they opened up a little bit, right? Yeah.
And he's sitting in the balcony, and it's the end of Oklahoma, which he loathes because it has an exclamation point. Like, yeah, he can't. He picks apart Oklahoma as just being trash, and how all of his stuff is sophisticated.
He's very Steven Saban, is what he is.
Yes. And he makes a good point, and he's really verbal. And at one point, E.B. White, who's also an alcoholic, is in the, so he leaves the theater early, goes to Sardi's where the celebration party will be, but he has these scenes with the bartender. And who is Andy McDowell's daughter again?
Margaret Qualley.
She plays a woman who's infatuated with a young woman. And I didn't know it was her. She dyes her hair blonde. They play her up as like everyone's in love with her. Richard Rodgers is in love with her. Everything. She's really good. She's this cocky 20-year-old Yale girl. And the whole time there's a guy playing the piano, and he's playing Rodgers and Hart song. He's playing. So there's this constant
Valentine.
Yes. And of course, the song that Lorenz Hart hates the most is Blue Moon, which is the name of the movie. And it's the song.
Yeah.
And it's also a portrait of kind of, everything I love about Heated Rivalry, which is it's not about tragic characters. This is about a tragic character, about a guy whose expression of his sexuality and the time and self-loathing and alcoholism, all kinds, comes and kind of defeats him. It's directed by Richard Linklater. Hello, Barry, the lead, who's an amazing, amazing guy. And it's based on letters that he wrote to that 20-year-old girl. So it's based on fact, and they kind of fictionalize them. And
Ethan Hawke, who is one of the most beautiful actors of all time, does a great job as just the ugly. He's balding. He's got the hair, but plastered across his head. He's hunchback. He's just not an attractive guy at all. And Ethan embodies him beautifully.
And Richard Linklater, who did Boyhood over several decades, and he the Before Sunset, the Before Midnight, he knew that Ethan Hawke wanted to play this role like 2 decades ago, and he said, "You're not old enough." He said, "But I'll wait." So they waited all this time, and then Ethan Hawke shaved his head and did that crazy comb over. So it's not flashy, but boy, is it good. And it's nominated. I think the screenplay is nominated. I think Ethan is nominated.
Yeah, Ethan got nominated. And in another year, he might have gotten a lot of awards. It's a very crowded season this year. Yeah. But it's a career all-time best for him. He's amazing.
But it's one of those quote-unquote minor Oscar-nominated films that I really, really encourage you all to see. Especially if on Netflix, almost for free if you pay $17.99 a month. Okay. But then I would have had to watch it with commercials, which I'm probably better. I watched it without commercials. Okay, let's now move on to number 6.
Number 6.
I've been catching up on Love Story, the John F. Kennedy and Carolyn Bessette 9-episode FX Hulu drama. But
I have a visceral. I don't want to watch this. I don't want to like it. I'm worried it's going to be bad. I'm worried it's going to be exploitive. Tell me what you saw.
I'll tell you something. I went into it with a knee-jerk reaction of hating Ryan Murphy. But the thing about Ryan Murphy, as we saw with the Swans, is he knows his culture. He can nail those specific periods. He can cast it beautifully. This is cast so wonderfully. Sarah Pidgeon plays Carolyn Bessette Jr. Paul Anthony Kelly is John. I didn't know who they were, but they're gorgeous. They are stars, and they nail it so well.
They look so much like them, right?
They look so much like them. They act like them. They're believable. They're so good. Naomi Watts is Jackie O, and she doesn't quite get the impersonation down, but she's so watchable and so funny and so good as Jackie O with a little breathy voice and everything like that. The girl who played Daryl Hannah, though, that is that is a nasty impersonation. But they go after Daryl Hannah. Blake, am I right?
I did kind of, yeah.
I got a look. That sort of made me like, ooh, like poor Daryl.
It doesn't make her look the best.
No, because Daryl, of course, had a famous relationship with John F. Kennedy Jr., and she was sort of portrayed as a gold digger, and she was and Jackie hated her, and he sort of.
But she's from money herself, right?
Well, that's just it. She's the daughter of a billionaire. Yeah.
What about the music? Did you love the music?
The music is so on point. That early 90s soundtrack, the costuming is so on point. The places, the sets and everything, it's so perfect. Now, we know that Ryan Murphy always starts off strong and usually can't land the ending. So I'm a little nervous about it because I'm only 4 or 5 episodes in. But so far, so good.
That's an unpleasant metaphor for this particular story and how it ends, but keep going.
Exactly.
Well, I also think he's better at these stories that are, like you said, historical than he is at the beauty.
Because there's an ending built in that you really can't.
Yeah, and Tom, I did go into it a little bit thinking like, I know the story. What can they tell me that I don't already know? But you're so deeply immersed into that time, that early 90s, and the leads do such a good job that I'm willing to keep going with this. I'm willing to give it give it more of a shot.
High praise from James St. James will get me to watch something. I don't know if I'll like it, but it'll get me to watch something.
Yeah.
All right. So that's Love Story. It's currently playing on FX and probably Hulu, which I'm paying more for this month. I'm telling you. Let's move on to Blake at number 5.
Number 5.
I took a really long train trip. I've told you guys I've taken the Amtrak train a couple of times from Dallas to Malvern in Arkansas to my home. This time I took it from Malvern all the way up to Chicago with my old chum, Mickey, who I've known since kindergarten. We loaded up in Malvern, Arkansas, and we were escorted directly to our bunk beds, which are already made. We had a roomette where we looked at each other. It was funny because Mickey had a few drinks before we got on, and she thought it was already nighttime. Like there's quiet hours after 10 p.m. So she gets on and she's like, are any of these? We just pick them. And the woman's like, shh. But it was fun nonetheless. We got to our room, and after we ate queso and chips that I brought in my bunk, we fell asleep to the train rocking. And I even slept through Poplar Bluff, which trivia. Do you know what TV character was from Poplar Bluff?
Oh, is Reba?
No, Charlene on Designing Women.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Okay.
So I really wanted to see Poplar Bluff, but I missed it. I slept through it. Woke up in St. Louis. And when we were leaving St. Louis, we were having breakfast and we saw the arch, like over the river.
I saw the pictures.
clouds.
Yeah, you sent pictures. Sure.
It was awesome. We pulled into Chicago around 2 p.m. I want to take the train back to St. Louis and explore that. But this trip was about Chicago because the experience was there. So
the Drag Race experience.
Exactly.
Go on.
So unfortunately, much to my dismay, the lines were not out the door waiting for the clown to show up. But we did show up a little late because we had a little trouble getting at our VRBO. So it wasn't like as busy as it was earlier in the day, but it was still awesome. Pandora Box was there. I had a great conversation with her.
Oh, nice. We love Pandora.
And I got into a little trouble in the workroom because I didn't know you weren't supposed to put the wigs on, but I did.
You know what? If anyone can put the wigs on, it's you, Blake.
I wrote on the mirror, eat it, bitches, Loma Linda 2026.
Your drag name, Loma Linda, yes.
Yeah, to James's.
I'm Guadalinda. We are the Linda sisters.
You're Yorba.
Oh, I'm Yorba Linda, yes.
Our friend Nigel is Guadalinda.
Nigel is Guada, Sister Guadalinda.
And like you said earlier, my favorite parts were the cut things, like from the workroom, the mini challenges that you don't get to see, and all the alternate endings to like see Trinity the Tuck crowned, or whatever.
Yes, there is a control room, a mocked up control room that just has video playing of all of these unseen moments and things that have been cut from the show, and it's just part of the experience, but it really does blow your mind.
And Blake, you'll have to post a picture of you in drag, because the image you do the Dragulator, and your drag character is hysterical.
Yeah,
but we're here to hype, and we can. But it's really, I mean, I was super impressed. It so exceeded my expectations. Do you agree with that?
I agree, and I totally bought the digital package. I love all my pictures.
Yeah,
so fun.
Oh, I'm so glad you had a good time.
Before I just want to go back to the train for 1 minute. So how long did the train trip take you from Arkansas to Chicago total?
Well, the train was a little late, so we got on at 10:50 p.m. and we got off at 2 p.m. We got on at 10:50 to 2. So I just slept and then, had like the morning into the mid-afternoon, and then we got off.
Perfect. If you had to drive to an airport and take off and land at an airport and take off, it'd have been the same amount of time almost. And you got to have queso and chips.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And a bunk bed, a bed to sleep in, which the coach on trains is nice too, because you have so much room to stretch out, but nothing beats a lie flat bed.
No, it's that's the way you feel like you're in an Agatha Christie novel.
I was. But it was fun. And then after that, I walked around Chicago and did Millennium Park with the Bean, and the building from Adventures and Babysitting. Yeah, and the building from Adventures and Babysitting.
I love Adventures and Babysitting. My favorite movie from the 80s. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was fun. I would definitely say try Amtrak, do Chicago, do the Drag Race experience.
I love it. All right, we're going to take a break. Anything you want to mention, Blake? Canada?
Yes, like we said, Chicago. This week you can watch Drag Race inside the workroom if you have tickets on Friday to the Drag Race experience, which has been extended through February in Chicago. Yes. Get your tickets at
Boys Town has a lot of shows. Roscoe has a viewing, but a lot of people are going to the experience because it's a little quieter. And if you're like me, you like to have it just be a little chiller, but it's got a really loyal following. So
exactly, we watch it at home and then go to the bar for the ending.
I love that. All right, we'll take a break. This is the Wow Report on Radio Andy. We'll be right back.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the Wow Report on Radio Andy. I'm Tom Campbell here with James St. James here with Blake Jacobs. Fenton is not here, but we have a message from him in segment 1, so please don't go anywhere. We're counting down the top 10 things of the week that made us go wow, and we have reached number 4.
Number 4.
The Reverend Jesse Jackson passed away this week, and it sort of flooded my memory bank. He has this amazing life. He has an amazing message. He was actually standing next to Martin Luther King when he was assassinated.
Yeah.
Just to think about that moment in history alone, and there's so much more. Obviously, he marched with him. He was tutored by him through the civil rights movement, and we've lost a great voice and a great piece of history. And in 84, I remember watching the Democratic convention, and he spoke, and he was such an inspirational leader. He really did pave the way for the Obamas, and just, it was, there's this poem that's written by someone else, but he would repeat it very often through the 60s and 70s, and I am somebody, right? I may be black, but I am somebody. I may be in prison, but I am somebody. And you listen to it and you say it and you cry. And I've seen versions of it where he did it at Sesame Street. He goes, I may be little, but I am somebody. I may have a funny haircut, but I am somebody. Obviously having fun with it, but like also just filling people with self-esteem, and especially the Black community. His campaign was the Rainbow Coalition, I think. He literally had a rainbow on his thing, and he was everywhere. And I'll never forget him. I've talked about this moment because it was a pivotal one. But when I went to the March on Washington, the Gay and Lesbian March on Washington in 1993, where RuPaul performed in his supermodel outfit, and a million men, marched. And this is before it was about don't ask, don't tell. But it was also, we were still in the midst of the AIDS crisis, which also affected the thing. And I always say, there was no leaders there. I was very impressed with the people who were there. I thought, but there's no leaders. But Reverend Jesse Jackson was there, and he spoke, and he was part of the AIDS quilt, and he spoke. He stood for the coalition rainbow, the idea that all us disenfranchised people, instead of nipping at each other, and finding our differences, that we come together, that we embrace as we the people, and change the world, and build our self-esteem, and change the country, and not wait for someone else to do it for us. And I can't remember if it was the Motown Returns to the Apollo with Diana Ross, or if it was the Motown 25th anniversary, but they brought out everyone at the end for the curtain call, and they're all singing, and Reverend Jesse Jackson is holding what's his name?
Emmanuel Webster.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Lewis Webster. So he was everywhere. And some people said he was kind of crass and self-promoting because he'd have these expressions you get in your face. He was kind of ahead of his time.
He was ahead of his time with branding. Yes, he knew how to brand. Yes. I also very quickly want to mention, too, that we lost Robert Duvall, and we also lost Bud Cort, who was Harold from Harold and Maude. So it was sort of a sad week to lose a lot of people.
I'll throw in one more just quickly. Billy Steinberg, who you may not know his name, but you know his music. But he wrote on Pat Benatar. He wrote for Linda Ronstadt, and he wrote Like a Virgin. He wrote Eternal Flame for the Bangles. He wrote so many great songs, especially in the 80s. And he's sort of the soundtrack of my 80s. And so rest in peace, rest in perfection. All those wonderful happen to be men this week who have changed and touched our lives. Let's move on now to number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3, I've been watching the Pete Davidson podcast on Netflix, which is really surprisingly enjoyable and really well done. 2 episodes are out so far. There's Machine Gun Kelly and Charlemagne the God, 2 people that I don't really care for particularly. I mean, I don't know them that well. I don't follow their careers, but Pete has a really engaging way of drawing people out. He's newly sober. It feels like it's just 2 guys in his mother's basement. It's not his mother's basement, but it's made to look like that. And it feels like 2 stoners just sitting around rambling about whatever comes to their mind. It's tightly controlled, but it has that freewheeling feel to it. It's really fresh and engaged. Like I said, Pete Davidson is a good guy. I like him a lot. Everything about him strikes the right chord with this. However, I did just read an article in Forbes talking about the fact that how video podcasts in particular, are taking over the industry and taking over traditional talk shows. As we saw how we've lost 2 talk shows. We lost the Kelly Clarkson show and the cancellation of the Sherry Shepherd show. And they were saying that these replacements, the problem is that by slapping a label of video podcast, it's a strategy to circumvent contractual obligations by using non-union talent and other labor issues, including strengthening AI protections, streaming residuals, and self-taped auditions, health benefits, etc., etc. It's a way of circumventing all of that, and traditional talk show format is dying, but this is a way to get around a lot of it by not paying people and not paying.
Yes, well, the Stephen Colbert thing, which is definitely politically motivated, it's also an incredibly expensive show. I don't think that's the exact reason.
It's very expensive to produce talk shows, and this is a way to get around that. But you're also getting around unions and things like that.
We've been doing video podcasts for years, and you can watch the Night Fever podcast, the video podcast.
And from what I understand, our podcasts make James rich.
Woo, girl, I am making that Pete Davidson money.
He can buy all of the Flash Gordon costumes. He can.
I can indulge.
Store.
Yes.
Fun thoughts. Pete Davidson's podcast on Netflix Watch it now. Moving on to number 2.
Number 2.
Well, this is an actual talk show. Have you guys been watching The View? And more importantly,
Oh my Lord.
I don't know if I've ever told you this. But I helped develop the View. Oh yeah.
Please make it all about yourself. I have been doing that all episode long.
You're
Go
supposed
ahead.
to interrupt me. Nothing. Go. Tell me about The View this week.
yeah, the conservative one had her baby, so they had to replace her with another conservative talking head. So they have Savannah Chrisley, of course, because she knows everything.
She makes Alyssa Fair Griffith look like a raging, flaming liberal in comparison.
Well, yeah, she is. No offense to people who are homeschooled, but you can tell she was homeschooled by psycho conservative parents, felons, yeah, liars. So I just can hardly even watch it. It's like when Elizabeth Hasselcrack was on it.
Yeah, well, my favorite was when they were talking about Obama talking about the aliens, and she said, "Well, God didn't talk about any aliens in the Bible, so I don't believe they exist." Like, oh my Lord. And then today she had the nerve. Yeah, this week she had the nerve to say that, well, President Trump is the least racist president in my lifetime. Oh my Lord.
After we literally saw him tweet a racist video about Obama and
what's her I mean, I watched the show like once for 10 minutes. Does she have any kind of background other than being a reality star to like
exactly
talking about
and
topics?
This show isn't even like how has it been on for this many seasons? It's on like USA, which I didn't even know existed anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's always a deep dark secret. Because you always question the father's sexuality.
Yeah.
Let him be whoever he wants to be. And then when they became felons, it was like, give me just people that lie. I don't want to know them. And then they got out and people are still interested, which is the state of the friggin' world today. Yeah. Call me crazy, but I think that Alyssa Farah, what's her last name?
Alyssa Farah Griffin, yeah.
I think she handles herself well. I think it's a tough seat to fill. And I think she's pretty factual about what she says.
And to give Alyssa her a little grace is that when Trump acts up, she will call him out on it. She does not. She is Republican, but she manages, and she's right wing, but she does manage to be a little clear headed sometimes. She is She's a fascinating one to watch. Savannah Chrisley is oh my Lord.
Barbara Walters is rolling in her grave.
Well, to flip the script and talk about something a little more positive, and for a silver lining to all this rain, since I'm a snow bunny now, there is tons of snow up in Big Bear, so I'm gonna have to take another trip and go, shred some powder or something.
Do it. It looks crazy up there right now. The snow
it's like 3 feet high.
Yeah,
there was an avalanche.
Yeah,
in Tahoe.
So let's Google what you need to have for an avalanche. There's something on the NPR about keeping the snow away from your face. They had some kind of something in their iPhone that helped them locate them. So I'm a warrior now. Now I'm a warrior. I'm your mother.
Please have a tracker on you at all times, Blake.
Right.
I'll have my key tracker on me. My
there
tile,
we go.
360.
Okay. Again, go have it. Go do. The whole state is out of drought conditions.
Yeah, that's
amazing.
Good.
Oh, good to know.
A year ago, traffic helicopters watched sparks light up houses and catch on fire. So it's like, thank God, I'll take the rain, and I hope everyone's,
well,
safe.
Unfortunately, because of the fires, it is a bad situation for mudslides and things like that now because of all that. Yeah.
We pay for it. All right. Well, we have to take a little break, but don't go away, because when we come back, we're going to reveal the number one thing that made us go wow. And you'll hear from Fenton Bailey, our fearless leader, with a very, very special interview.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
All right, welcome back to the Wow Report. I'm Fenton, and I haven't been here this week because me and Randy are in Louisville, Kentucky, for the world premiere of Murder in Glitterball City. And we are so excited to welcome, for this week's number one, Little John and Missy, who are huge characters in this film. And we're just so glad to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
You guys are legends of Louisville. You are iconic.
That's what they say.
That's
It's
what they
neat.
say.
Yeah.
I feel normal. I don't feel iconic, but
They were saying that 10 years ago.
but
put it
they
on
do
some
say that,
t-shirts.
yes.
They put on t-shirt. But we've been there. This August will be 21 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I spent 30 something years in the industry in Louisville.
Describe your business for us.
Jewelry store. We make jewelry. We design jewelry. We create stuff. We sell brand new manufactured jewelry, not by us, but by other vendors from all over the world. We deal with the world market in manufacturing.
Yes.
We manufacture overseas. We have manufacturers that manufacture stuff for us overseas.
And for people who don't know, you guys, like, how is it that you became, because you have become quite famous in Louisville, but tell us how that happened.
The goofy commercials that I was just, I don't know, I was trying to just promote us and
then showing
make some
the
money, and they
flashing
became very
cash.
famous.
They say you're
And-
not supposed to flash cash on TV, but I said I really have to flash the cash
Yeah.
on TV until they tell me to stop, which they never did.
Yeah.
However, it opens you up to IRS audits, which we had, but it was okay.
And Missy, didn't you write a bunch of the jingles? Can you share any of like what the commercials were, any of the jingles with us?
Yeah, I wrote all the jingles actually. Maybe a little bit of an input with some of the actors or actresses that were involved. You know, I would always want an open mind because, you know, I want to listen to what you have to say, because what you have to say might be very good and I could put it in there and make it even better. So Officer Terry, you know, he said, I don't want to do that. The thing of it is when you do these commercials and you have somebody that doesn't want to do what you have written, you have to kind of go around it to make it work. Okay, let's do it this way or alter it a little bit. And then that way you get the final product of what you want. But I wrote all the jingles. I just would take some, like the Village People, for example.
Yeah, the village. I'm surprised they haven't come. Well, you know, it's a tribute. It's a loving
yeah.
satire.
Well, yeah, they contacted us once and said,
I hung up on them. And then she called back. I hung up on her again, and I didn't know how to handle it. And they left it alone. Thank
They
God.
did.
Well, that's one way of dealing with it. What's the kind of catchphrase? Because I think there are a couple. Well, there's one at least, right?
Don't mail it in, bring it in, and get your cash today.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
flash
one
that
of them.
cash. I stapled the cash
That's
together.
the main one.
And I only showed large bills. Why wouldn't you? Hundreds and fifties, staple them together. Get your cash today. You know, people were showing dollar signs floating on cartoons and little ones piling up. I was showing real cash.
That was back in the day when we first started. We bought a lot of gold. We was never a pawn shop. Everybody kind of got us confused because, you know, it kind of a pawn shop feel. You know, if you're selling your gold, a lot of people don't know pawn's actually a loan, but that's what a pawn shop does. And that's what my sister does. But, you know, since he came from the pawn shop world, I was like, oh, what are we going to do? We want to be jewelers, but we also want to be able to, and a lot of jewelers do that. They'll take in trade or they'll buy jewelry, especially now, you know, gold's extremely high right now.
We just bragged about buying gold and paying your cash.
That's what we did. And that's how we,
in a nutshell,
started.
People were ashamed or afraid
shamed or afraid, yes.
to offer cash money in exchange for your gold. I was the first one that would say, I'm going to give you this cash that I'm showing you.
Mhm.
I'm going to give it today. Don't mail it in to another company down south. They send you a check before you even get a phone call for nothing. So don't mail it in, bring it in and get your cash today. And that's what I said to people.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mail it in, bring it
every
in and get your
commercial,
cash
it
today.
always ends
Women's
with that.
waiting at the mailbox day after day, waiting for that check. You could have came into Little John's, got your cash today and be on about your business and spending that money. And you could shop my prices and stuff. So people would just, for some reason, they would just give me the opportunity. They made me buy their gold. They come to me last. For some reason, people could stomach me. There's certain things I can do to people and get away with it. And one of them was transactions like in jewelry because it's so fun. You don't have to have it. If you think you like it, you should try it. If you don't like it, you probably wasted a little money. So what? And that's how you experiment with jewelry.
Well, I think people adore you both. And when David started his book that way about he was watching TV and he heard about this murder, Randy and I were like, well, this is the way we kind of got to start the film too. And what's your kind of, for someone who doesn't know Louisville and old Louisville, just give us a little description and tell us about what kind of place is it?
It's a cool place because we're on the borders of Old Louisville. We're both on the border going away. We're going south of Louisville. So we're at the end of it. And we just miraculously are in Old Louisville, which I didn't even know till the book was written. And my shrink at the time I was using this certain shrink calls me up and says, "You're famous, John. You're in this book somebody wrote."
Right.
I read it because one of our patients is in it, which is the Pappy Van Winkle dude.
Well, you know what I feel about, being on the edge of Old Louisville, all down through there where, U of L's kind of right in the middle.
It's artsy.
It's very artsy, yes.
Colorful.
And the colorful and the mansions down there are gorgeous. I mean, the homes are beautiful. Now, what used to live there back in the day doesn't live there now. A lot of them they've made into apartments and that kind of thing. And there's a lot of students that live in the mansions, but there is, like on St. James Court there, I think a lot of them are preserved. We had a gentleman that worked for us for a little while that lived there. And what was his name?
Alan.
Since
that book has come out, within the last 2 years especially, I've noticed a lot of people from Old Louisville I got to meet.
Yes.
I can tell by the way they dress. A bit more sophisticated and polished. They look more like they're from Illinois.
Right.
But they're no, I just tell by the way they wear their jackets and what the fit. So, and they'll actually mention they're from that area and stuff.
The homes are just really beautiful and preserved. A lot of them are preserved. And
Old Louisville's cool.
And, that's where a lot of the people that Prestige, when they came to Louisville back in the day, that's where they were. Like the mayor, he lived down there on the corner. I don't remember which neighbor it was, but he had a beautiful home right there across from Central Park.
What it's like now, though, is like there's a lot of students there.
Yes, there's a lot of students there.
And there's a lot of ethnics surrounding all the, it's really ethnic-y around the track now.
Yes.
Back in the day, I'd say back in the day, 20-something years ago, 30-something years ago, there weren't that many people look like me. Now everybody does, which is different.
Well, that's right. Your store is down by the Kentucky Derby racetrack, right? The legendary Kentucky Derby. Yeah.
Right there where history's made.
It's funny when we started making this Murder in Glitterball City docuseries, it took us a long time to make it because it was so complicated because we're telling a true crime story, but also telling a story of a city and the characters.
Right.
You guys had you inspired us a lot because, and obviously David Domine in his book, starting off with you, it made us realize that to tell the story, a big part of it was to meet the characters who live in Louisville and to get them to not only help us tell the story of the crime, but to help us tell the story of a city. And so for that, we are so grateful to the two of you. That inspiration you gave to us.
We're great. We're the grateful participants because Louisville. See, look, Kentuckiana's been so good to us. They've embraced us from the beginning.
Absolutely.
We can go anywhere and people treated us so good.
Absolutely.
And we never abuse it. We can go to all these restaurants. People are always kind to us, and any services. people go out of their way to do services for us because they know if we're happy, we don't care what it costs. They know we can spend money. They know we don't care what it costs. We just want some services and stuff. So
I can't wait to see myself for the first time on a big screen. I'm so excited tonight.
Well, we're so excited to have you tonight.
Myself on a big screen like that, and the adrenaline is just there. I'm just so excited.
When we started making this, Randy said early on, we've got to have the premiere here in Louisville, and we're having it tonight at the Speed Museum. And then Thursday, it'll have premiered by the time this airs last night on HBO. So you can see both parts on HBO. But we're excited to see you at the premiere tonight. And as Randy says, we are so grateful to you. And I think, even though this is a very dark story and a very tragic story, the opportunity to meet everyone in Louisville and sort of paint a portrait of this community, that's in large part what the film is about. And huge thanks to you and everybody who agreed to participate.
The Philippines is watching this stuff.
Yeah, all the way in the Philippines.
The Philippines are
they'll be
watching this. My cousin in Cebu, the Harry Valoria family.
Excellent. All right. Also, you can watch the whole of this interview with John and Missy on our YouTube channel, Wow Presents.
Thank you, Fenton. Great conversation. Everybody, again, it's playing right now. Murder in Glitterball City, HBO. Check it out. Until we get together again, hopefully with Fenton with us, go out, have fun, be safe, stay dry, and do something that makes the world go wow.